Kakadosh Boker Or. This is going to be Kinyan Masechta. We're just going through Megillah Eshter, chapter 8. We're going to be flying, so please put on your seatbelts. Okay? We're talking about the day that Achashverosh comes and he gave Esther Malka the house of Haman. Tzorera Yehudim, the enemy of the Jews. Mordechai comes in front of the king because Esther Malka comes and tells him who she is. So, Vayasar HaMelech et Tabato of Shem Haman, he takes off the signet ring from Haman and he gives it to Mordechai and he placed Esther, right? So Esther comes and she places Mordechai in charge of Haman's estate. So now Haman's estate now belongs to Mordechai. But Tosef Esther, so Esther comes and she adds on, she speaks in front of the king and she weeps, right? She falls in front of him, she weeps, she's mitchanen to him to uproot, right, the plot of Haman Haragagi, and everything that he thought, his intent against the Jews. Again, he extends the Sharvit Zahav, which is the scepter. She calls up and he says, please write to return the Sepharim that Haman Agagi wanted to do, which was to destroy the Jews in all the different provinces. Why? Because how could I come and bear witness, right? How am I going to see the bad which is going to happen to my nation, and how am I going to see the destruction of all my kindred, of all the people that came from me? I gave you the house of Haman, right? And I came and I hung him because he came and he wanted to go against the Jews. And now you could write whatever you want in the name of the king and sign it in the signature ring of the king. Why? You cannot return a decree. Meaning you can only make a new decree. You cannot return something. So to return that which Haman Agagi wrote, that on the 13th of Adar we were going to be destroyed, he couldn't have done. However, though, I could write something new. So write something new. So, this is the month of Sivan. On the 23rd, so remember, this is the 23rd of Sivan. This is after Shavuot. They come and they write. So he comes and he writes everything which is written. What does he write? So he writes it in the name of the king and he signs it. And he sends the messengers, the ones that are running around with the horses. Asher, that the king gave to the Jews, which is in every single city, to gather together. Right, Kila. Remember those words. To stand for their rights, for their souls. To destroy, to kill, to exterminate, whatever you want to call all these different leshonot. One day. בשלושה עשר לחודש 12 הוא חודש אדר, the 13th of the month. So, what is the day? The 23rd of Sivan. They're already writing down new rules, and the new rule is going to be that on this day, the 13th of Adar, which originally was going to be that they're going to kill us out, now we are going to kill them out. Pachegen HaKetav. So you have this Pachegen HaKetav, right? This is, we are now Yud Gimel, 13. Right, so this is the copies of all the different things were given. Everybody knew. So everybody knew, and everybody's looking forward. Remember, from the 23rd of Sivan until Yud Gimel Adar, that we are going to take vengeance against our enemies. Everything was given, right? Mordechai comes out in front of the king. These are all the different clothing that he was coming out with. Right, and then obviously so obviously to the Jews it was simachot and everything, because look what happened. Everyone was doing simcha mishtav yom tov, and everybody started even converting because they were afraid. And now starts Perek Tet. Perek Tet chapter 9 starts uvishnemasar chodesh, when it came to the 12th month, which is the month of Adar. Remember, we always start Nisan. Nisan is the first month of the year. So if you start from Nisan, the last month is Adar. So, uvishnemasar chodesh, the 12th month, which is Chodesh Adar, which is on the 13th, asher giva advar mene v'dato lehasod, bayom, on the day, asher siberu haYehudim lishlop bahem, that they wanted to come and kill us out. V'nafochu, it was the exact opposite. Sheyishlutu haYehudim hem abasodehem, that the Jews took vengeance against them. Nikalu Yehudim barehem, so all of them gathered together in their cities. Bechol medinot, and all the medinot to put their hand against the people that do bat them. V'yishu amaliv, nobody could come and touch them. כי נפל פחתם על כל העמים, because everybody was afraid of the Jews. וכל שרי המדינות, everybody was afraid of Mordechai. כי גדול מרדכי בבית המלך, he was such a great person there, everybody heard, כי האיש מרדכי הולך לגדול. ויכו היהודים בכל אויביהם, so they came and they killed out, they smite, ומכת חרב והרג ואבדן, ועשו בצורה מקודש, they did whatever they wanted with their enemies. As one of the, ושושן הבירה, in שושן הבירה, right, again, this is still the 13th, הרגו היהודים ואבד 500 איש. They came and they annihilated 500 men. And they annihilated Pashandata, Dalfon, the these are 10, right? These are the sons of Haman. But they didn't touch any booty. That means they didn't come and they didn't take. Which one?
You said they didn't touch who? You said they didn't touch any
booty. The booty, Labotin, El Botin. Right? This is the time of the booty. By Yomahu on that day. So they come and they come. So that means they find out how many people did they kill in Shushan. So they killed 500 men. And the 10 sons of Aman. What did they do in the other provinces? Whatever you want, ask. But Tomer Eshter, comes Eshter, and she says to the king, it's good for the give the next day la Yehudim asher b'Shushan, right? Also, which are going to be in Shushan, right? Which is going to be now which one? If it's the next day, what's the next day? 14th. La'asot kedat hayom, to do the exact same what they're doing today. Now we just killed the Sera ben Aman. We want to hang them, right? It's not just them that we killed them. We want to hang them up, right? Yeah, I'm recording. So now he comes and he says, and I want to hang them. So says the king, do it. They gave the rule in Shushan as well, that again they're going to get the extra day. So that's what it says over here on the 15th, on the next pasuk. So now the Jews in Shushan come, gam biyom 14, also on the 14th of Adar. Vayargu b'Shushan, and they kill in Shushan, 300 ish, another 300 people. So they just killed on the 13th 500 people and the 10 children of Aman. Now on the 14th they come and they kill another 300 people. Again, they didn't take any of the spoils of the booty. So now throughout all the other Medinot HaMelech, they came and they killed 75,000 people. Yeah, 75,000 people. Right? So it came out on the 13th of Adar V'Noach, right? So now they come and they rested on the 14th, right? They gained relief on the 14th, and therefore they made it of a Yom Mishteves Simcha. Meaning, when did they do the war on the 13th? When did they rest? On the 14th. Right? It's a Megillah. People don't read the Megillah to step. Fine, so you have to read in English. But listen, so what happens? Is the Jews in Shushan, they fought on the 13th and on the 14th. Right? So therefore, what happened? So therefore, Noach, when did they rest? On the 15th. So therefore, they did the 15th on the right Yom Mishteves Simcha. Al Ken, and therefore, now you understand the Megillah to stay. Now you understand the Megillah. This pasuk is the one that we just brought down to make the diuk. How do we know that the scattered cities read on the 14th and the walled cities on the 15th? Listen to the pasuk. Al Ken, after we just mentioned everything that we just mentioned, Al Ken, and therefore Hayudim Perazim, the Jews which are the Prazim, Hayoshevim Ba'arei Perazot, that they're living in scattered cities. Osim et Yom 14 lechodesh Adar. They're going to do the 14th of Adar. Simcha u'mishlev Yom Tov. Again, afterwards we retracted on the Yom Tov, but it's not a Yom Tov. It's just without the Yom Tov, because you're allowed to do melacha on Purim. They retracted on the Yom Tov, but they did Simcha u'mishlev Mishlach Banot Yishleu. Right? Nekuda. So therefore, from there we see what did the Jews do? The 14th. Why? Because that's when they rested. So says the Gemara, from the fact that this pasuk says the Perazim are going to do on the 14th. So when are going to do the walled cities? On the 15th. Right? And then we said, no, maybe they don't do it at all. And then we started saying, what? They're not Jews. You understand? But now you understand what's going on. So then it says, so Mordechai comes and he writes all these things and he sends the Sefarim to establish onto them. Liot osim, to do the days, and again one more time, asiyah, liot osim, et 14 lechodesh Adar, vet yom 15 bo b'chol shana v'shana. That he comes and he writes down that they're going to fulfill the mitzvah of Purim on the 14th and the 15th. And that's why we kept on saying the fact that it's written that this is going to be, maybe it's either or maybe it's both, or maybe, you remember we started, so this is the next pasuk, 2 pasukim later, that it's talking about that you do 2 days. You do the 14th and you do the 15th. Kayamim, just like the days. Now you understand what we did on Bet Amud Aleph. Just like the days, that they rested from their enemies. Now again, one shitan the Gemara said, that was Rav Shimon bar Abba, that it's Ha'ul Dorot to Dichtiv. That's for all generations. Kayamim shenachu b'ayim, just like we rested, we're going to rest also, we're going to make a simcha mishteh, right, and everything else. However, though, the other opinion was saying yamim kayamim, right, the day 2 for 2. So Yudalef Yudbet, just like the Yudalef Tetvav. So kayamim shenachu b'ayim v'achodesh, in the month, asher napach lehem, which changed from Yagon l'simcha mevel Yom Tov, la'asot otam, to make them yemeh mishteh v'simcha. Did you realize here we took off Yom Tov? Why do we take off Yom Tov? Because they didn't accept upon themselves the Yom Tov afterwards. They took off the Yom Tov. It only became Yemim Sheh V'Simcha L'Shach L'Yisrael V'Mitzvah V'Kibel HaYudim Et HaShechel L'Lasot. So they came and they accepted upon them whatever Mordechai wrote on them. Because he wanted to destroy us. He made a lottery to destroy us. However, when he came in front of the king, Amari Masechet, he said with the book, it's going to go back on him. They hung him and his children on the tree. Al ken, and therefore, kareu liyamim haele furim. They call these days Purim. Al shema pur. Al ken kol dvei hagazot umaru kacha. V'kimu v'kiblu haYehudim alehem. So they accepted upon themselves and their children. V'akol nim v'lo yavor, that it will never pass by. Liot osim, to do l'shnei yamim haele, the 2 days. Kichtavam v'chizmanam. Right? What does that mean? The way that it's written in its proper time, every single year. V'ayamim haele, and these days, nizkarim v'naasim. This is the Niskarim, the Hekesh, Zechira to Asiya. Niskarim, we're going to read the Megillah just like when we do the day of the Suda Mishteh. Bechol Dovar Dor, in every single generation, every single family, every single country, every single city. And these days of Purim, Lo Yavru Mitoch Yudim, Zicharon Esum Zram, it will never stop. And then that's the last chapter, which is this talking about the concept of Eshter Malka.